Hi everyone. Today video is on refresh token. So this video is the fourth and last video in the series of our chocolate GraphQL custom authentication and which is implemented in code first, pure code first technique. Okay. So what is the use of refresh token? For suppose if our JWT access token has been expired, then instead of asking user to re-enter their username and password, we can send a refresh token to the server, and if that is a valid one, then server will automatically renews the new access token to the client. So client can use the new access token for the subsequent request throughout the client application. So this is the benefit of using the access token. Now, in our project, what we will do, we are going to generate the refresh token, and also we are going to use the refresh token to renew the expired access token. That logic we are going to implement in this session. Okay. Before going to that, I want to mention that whatever the information that I am going to explain in this video has been already made as a blog. Okay, link will be available in the description under the video. So if anyone are interested to go through the blog, you can click over it. Okay, so let's jump into our project. Okay, and if we recall, in user login, what we are doing, we are simply returning the string, means our access token. Okay, so now we need to have a logic like while user is trying to log in into the application at the time of creation of JWT access token, we should also generate the refresh token, and along with the JWT access token, we also return the refresh token to the client. Okay, that logic we need to implement. Okay, so first what we will do, go to our auth logic file. Here we will implement a one private method. That private method going to return us the some random string. That string we are going to be used as refresh token. So let's create a method to generate the refresh token. Okay, here we declared a variable like random number, and its memory is 32 bytes memory. Okay, next we are using system.security.cryptography random number. So this will help to generate the random number. Okay. So here what we are doing, using this generator. Okay, we are reading the bytes into our random number variable. Okay, once it is uh, it got the random bytes, then we are converting it as a base 64 string, and we are returning. So this will be uses the refresh token. Okay, so this is our private method to generate the refresh token. Now our logic is we need to change the login method. Here login method return type is string, but now we want to return along with access token also refresh token. So I am going to change it as a one class type. So I will create a class. For that, what I will do? So I will create a one class, and I don't want to create it in the inputs because inputs have some special category in GraphQL. Okay, if you recall, while querying inputs data, what we will do, class name plus input, right? We will append and query the data. So I want to make them separate in separate folder, all inputs, all inputs, nothing but payload to the server. I want to create, I want to maintain all those in this folder. So for returning type of things, I want to create one more folder like models. So let me create a folder like models. So here I am going to create the new class object for the response from our login method. So what I will create means I will create like token response model.cs. So I am going to have properties like public string message. So this property we are going to use like a generic property. Either we can assign success or the failure message to it. So client applications can able to determine the status of our response. Okay. Next two main properties like one is access token. Okay. And another one is refresh token. Now let's update our login method return type. On the top, let's initialize our token response model. Initially, I want to assign success. Okay. So let's update our uh, returning statement logics. And let's also assign refresh token value. We have created method, right? So let's access that method. Get refresh token. Okay. So now we have generated access token and refresh token. Now what we have to do means we have to save it into the database so that when the uh, client application sends a refresh token to the server, so server can check for the user record with that refresh token in the database to generate the new access token. So for that purpose, we need to save our refresh token into the database. And also it is always recommended to specify some expiry date for the refresh token as well. So let's use them. So here I am assigning uh, refresh token value to the database instance. I will give my refresh token expiration like 7 days. Okay. Finally, we need to save it to the database. And then return the result. And let's also update our IOT logic interface abstract method definition. So go to IOT logic and just replace it and import the namespace. Okay. And also we need to update our login resolver method in the mutation resolver class. So let's go there. Mutation resolver. Let's update here as well with that return type. I hope those changes are enough to generate the refresh token along with the access token. So let's test it. Object interface, okay. Now it is an object, right? Response. We need to specify the properties we want to fetch. I want all the properties from the that token response model, like message, access token, and one more thing, refresh token. See, all these are properties of our token response model. We know, right? While querying, we must specify in Pascal case means first letter is small. Let's run again. See, now we are getting message, access token, and refresh token as well. Okay, so we are done with one part, like generating the refresh token. Now we are going to renew the refresh token. Okay, renew the JWT access token using the refresh token. That logic we have to implement now. Okay, so that means we are going to create a one new resolver in the mutation class for renewing the data. So let me create some skeleton resolver like what should be the return type for the renewal of the uh, JWT access token. So here we need to, when we are generating a new access token with it using refresh token, we also create new refresh token as well. Means one refresh token is best way of recommended to use is one time only. Once it is used for renewal, we need to we should not use it. We should consider it as a expired. So we have to create new refresh token as well. So we can use directly this model only for renewal as well. Okay, so I am using that model and my method is like renew tokens. So now client should only send refresh token. No, we should not depend only on refresh token because refresh token is a random generated value. There must be a one very worst case scenario. There will be a chances that match with other user refresh token value as well. So at that time we are going to have multiple records with the same refresh token. At that time, what will happen? Our code will fail, right? Two records. And one more case is like everyone knows it is a predictable because only depending upon the refresh token. Because if someone uh, generated some fake refresh random refresh token, and if at all it is matches with our database, it's going to be written access token. That will be a problem. So by considering these two scenarios, what we have to do means we must send along with refresh token, we also must send the expired access token as well. Why? Because in expired access token, definitely we are going to have some user identification value, like either email or user ID. We are definitely going to use it in that access token as a claims. If you recall our uh, video 2 on this series, while sorry, okay, video 2 only. While user login, we are generating JWT token by using email as a one of the claim while generating the JWT token, right? So like that, one particular value should be used in this access token as a claim, so that what will happen? We can use the claim, that important claim, and this refresh token we can query the user table. So now we don't have a duplication of records, or outsiders also cannot get the access token simply with some random string. So that's why we should always send the payload as refresh token as well as the expired JWT access token. So it is so I need to create a type for it or a class for the payload. So what I will do, since it is a payload or the input data, right? So I am going to create a new class in input folder. So I am name like renew tokens input type. So this is my payload class, and it will have access token and refresh token. So I need to inject this, because next step I am going to create one method in that auth logic file. Okay, this is the structure of my resolver. So what I will do for now, I will return null value. Okay, now we have to implement the logic in our auth logic. So before implementing the uh, public method for renewing the tokens, I want to create a one private method. So that private method is used to uh, generate the claims from the expired access token. So using those claims, I can get my user email address. Okay. So let's create a private method. Return type should be claims principal, and get claims from expired JWT token. This is my name, method name. Okay. And it should have expired token as an input. Okay. Now what we will do, Here we need to use the token parameters values. Okay, if you recall, in startup, in add JWT barrier service, we are validating our token, right? So same object we need to initialize here. There automatically framework will validate the JWT access token in normal process. Here we are using same logic but written in our custom way to fetch the client from the expert token. So what I will do, just go over there, startup. So from the startup, let's copy this object. Let's get back to our auth logic and use it here. Okay, I will name like token validation params. I think we have underscore token settings. Yes. And here only one more thing is we need to specify like validate lifetime equal to false. What is this? Okay, we are saying don't check for the default or user defined expiration uh, date type for the token. Okay, normally in startup we didn't specify it. Go to startup because automatically it will take the what are the value we will set. Okay, but we are explicitly saying don't check for the expiration token because we already know that is an expired token. So we are skipping the expiration date validation. Okay, so that's about our token validation parameters where JWT handler. So initialize the token handler instance and try to fetch the principals. Nothing but the claims principles. So how can we get them? JWT handler dot validate token. Okay. So first parameter will be token, that is our expired token. Next parameter will be token params. We have just created them, so assign them. Okay. And we should specify one more parameter. Okay, that is output parameter. Security token. Okay, this gives us validates method gives us um, results like our claims and also only when the token is successfully encrypted, sorry, decrypted. So our JWT token. Here what we will do, we convert the security token as JWT security token, and it should, we will test like it should not be empty. And finally, we are going to return the our principles. Okay, so let's have a one brief look on this method. So what we are doing, we have created a private method that have input value like our expired access token. Next, we are generating the token validation parameters with all our configuration that we are very well know how these configurations are work. And one uh, small changes token parameters, we are setting validation lifetime to false. Means don't check for the expiration date for the uh, token while validating the token. Means we are saying validate entire token except expiration time. Okay. So using JWT handler, we are what we are doing, we are validating our token, generating its security token, and as well as we are uh, getting the principles from the means nothing but claims principles from the validation token. Okay. So That's about our required private method. Now let's create our main public method for renewing the tokens. So let's do that. Public, we know what is our return type. It should be token response model only because we are going to generate new token as well as refresh token while renewing the access token. Okay, so let's go to auth logic and name it like renew tokens. What it is input type, something renew token input types, renew token. So let's initialize the token response model instance. Token response model instance like uh, let's let it be success initial. Okay, now let's get the claims from our expert token from the method that we have created just now. So like equal to, okay, and pass our access token to it. Okay, if at all we receive any null value, means token is not valid. Okay, so what we will do, we will change the assign the some error message like invalid tokens. Okay, and we will return the results. Okay, next, if at all we got client's principal successfully, then we need to get our unique identifier of my user. So my case unique identifier is email ID. So email and client's principals where type equal to email, my claim name. So if you have any doubts, let's go to our login method and there what type of clients were. Okay, let's go to our token generation method. See here, copy this name and assign here. Okay, actually there are default clients like this. Okay, provided by the framework itself. Here I am defined custom name, right? Instead of that, it is always good to use the default one. Type like okay. So let me use that as well here. And we want to fetch the value of it. Okay, let it break down. So if we don't have also if we don't get the our required claim also we should return result as invalid tokens. So string dot is will copy these two lines of code. Okay. Now if I got a valid email, okay, and what I have to do, I need to query the user table using this email as well as my refresh token from the payload object. So our user equal to Let's take down. And also we need to check the refresh token. And also expiration date of the refresh token. Okay. Dot first dot default. Okay. If at all, if user is null, then also return response like invalid tokens. If user exists, then get the roles from the user roles table. Okay. Now let's generate the new refresh token using the user data and the roles data. So result dot access token equal to get auth token, and it expects user and the roles. Okay. Next we need to generate refresh token as well, because we want refresh token only use one time for renewing the access token. That is the best recommendation for the refresh token. So let's call our refresh token method as well. Since we are generating new refresh token, right, we should update our table as well, like we do for login. So refresh token will be result dot refresh token and user dot first name, sorry, expiration. Okay, that will be 7 days like we did in login. Auth token dot save changes. Okay, we are saving our data and we simply returning the response. Okay, let's have a overlook. So what we are doing when we got the when we this method invoked, we are just initializing our response model. Then we are fetching the claims from the expired access token. Okay, if claims doesn't exist, means that is invalid expired access token. So we are going to return the empty result. If at all we get claims, then we check for the user identification claim. In my case, it is email address. Mostly everyone can use email or the user ID as well. My case, it is email address. So checking for the email claim. If no email, then also it will be result will be invalid. If at all it found email, then we are querying the user table with email, refresh token, and refresh token expiration time. If no user found, means that is not, then also we will return invalid result. If user found, then we are going to fetch us the roles for the user, and we will repeat the logic what we did in login method, like fetching access token, fetching refresh token, then saving refresh token and expiration to database, then returning the result. So that's it. Our implementation logic for the renewing the tokens using the refresh token. Okay. So now what we will do, we need to add the method definition in our interface as well. So let's go to Auth logic interface. So let's add here. Okay. And now let's update our mutation resolver method with this method. So go to mutation resolver, remove this one. You can say auth logic dot renew tokens and pass the payload. So that's it. Let's let's prepare our command to invoke it. Okay, so first let's get the access token. Okay, now what we will do, we will consume our secured endpoint in query resolver. This is secured, right? So move this one for now. I want user should be authenticated to access it. So let's prepare a query to consume it. So query, hello, it should be small h, and I need to give the header authorization, and it should be have barrier keyword and copy my, where is this, access token. So let's give it. Okay. So I am showing the scenario when the token expires. That's why I'm going back to this query resolver. So we are successfully accessing our query, right? Let's make our token expiration to some 30 seconds so that we can easily see expiration of our JWT token. So for that, what I will do, go to auth logic and go to logic of generating JWT access token private method. So here we are generating. So here we are adding, right? So let me change it to add seconds, like 30 seconds. And in startup, we need to change small change. This is not for production because production access token will always at least have 20 minutes, right? That is the basic minimum. But by default, what means uh, server will not validate the expiration of a token if its expiration is below 5 minutes. But if you want to make server to validate a exact time, like whatever the user specified for the expiration of the JWT token, if at all it is below 5 minutes, then we need to add some clock skew property until 0. Okay. If you don't specify this, our 30 seconds will not valid. Means after 30 seconds also our JWT token works as a valid one because server will ignore expiration if our access token specifies below 0. So this line of code, test token expiration below 5 minutes. Okay, because by default below 5 minutes expiration won't check by the server. So to make whatever time we specified in the token, we should use this line of configuration in the startup method. See, this is startup, add barrier token. Okay, now if I generate a new token, okay, let's copy this token and add it here. Okay, let's try it. Let's wait for 30 seconds. See, 30 seconds completed. Now we are unauthorized. Okay, in this case, what we have to do, we need to use the refresh token process. Okay, so what we will do, we will go to our mutation resolver. We will prepare a mutation type for our renew tokens. Okay, go over here, mutation, and the method name is renew tokens. Renew token. And we should declare a variable that is of our renew token type, right? What I will do, I will name any name. I will name my renew token. Okay, and these properties should match these properties, but in Pascal casing, right? So this is my payload, and let's declare the variable my renew token, right? Copy this, and this should be used as a type for our variable. So let's copy our variable name from the server. What is the variable name? Renew token. So copy here. So what we did, we are assigning the GraphQL variable to our renew token, and we need to define our GraphQL variable type here. That is nothing but class name plus input keyword. Okay, and it will return response token response model, right? So I will get message access token refresh token. So let's pass our expired access token and try to give some dummy refresh token to get the negative results. Here in not in headers payload, right? This one I need to specify it in variables. See, I am getting invalid because this is a not a valid token. The refresh token value. So let's go over here and paste it here. Now test. See, I am getting new access token and refresh token. So let's copy. See, this is our renew tokens endpoint. Okay, let's copy the access token. Sorry, and consume the this one. Only 30 seconds. We should do it fast. Now it is working. Okay, like this. See, because 30 seconds is completed before I am copying from there to here. So we have seen our token expiration has been perfectly worked to renew the refresh token using the refresh token. So we are done with implementing the logic to renew the JWT access token using the refresh token. Okay, so that's the end of this series of GraphQL in pure code first approach for custom authentication. Okay, what we have did in first video, we have done user registration. In second video, we generated JWT access token. In third video, we have validated our JWT access token and also checked the different authorization technique. And this in this final video, we are implemented the refresh token concept. So that is the completion of this series. I think this video and this series has given some useful information to you all. If you like my video, please subscribe to my channel and we will meet you again new videos. Until then, signing off.